Hello, this is R.J. Deacon reading the Supreme Court of the United States opinion syllabus in NESTLE versus DOE, certiorari to the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. Argued December 1st, 2020. Decided June 17th, 2021. If you'd like to support the podcast, please stay tuned to the end of the podcast. And if you're interested in agricultural law, please find the Penn State Agricultural Law podcast on any podcast source. Respondents are 6 individuals from Mali who allege that they were trafficked into Ivory Coast as child slaves to produce cocoa. U.S.-based companies NESTLE USA and Cargill do not own or operate cocoa farms in Ivory Coast, but they do buy cocoa from farms located there and provide those farms with technical and financial resources. Respondents sued Nestle, Cargill, and others under the Alien Tort Statute, ATS, which provides federal courts jurisdiction to hear claims brought by an alien for a tort only committed in violation of the law of nations or a treaty of the United States. That's 28 U.S.C. Section 1350. Contending that this arrangement aids and abets child slavery because respondents' injuries occurred overseas and the only domestic conduct alleged by respondents was general corporate activity, the district court dismissed the suit as an impermissible extraterritorial application of the ATS under Kyobel v. Royal Dutch Petroleum. The Ninth Circuit held, as relevant, that respondents had pleaded domestic application of the ATS as required by Kyobel because the corporation's major operational decisions originated in the United States. The Supreme Court held, the decision below is reversed and remanded. Justice Thomas delivered the opinion of the court with respect to Parts 1 and 2, concluding that respondents here improperly seek extraterritorial application of the ATS. The court's 2-step framework for analyzing extraterritoriality issues first presumes that a statute applies only domestically and asks whether the statute gives a clear affirmative indication that rebuts the presumption. That's RJR Nabisco Incorporated versus European Community. As the court has already held, the ATS does not rebut the presumption of domestic application, Kyobel. In fact, the ATS does not expressly regulate conduct at all, much less evince a clear indication of extraterritoriality. Second, where the statute, as here, does not apply extraterritorially, plaintiffs must establish that the conduct relevant to the statute's focus occurred in the United States, even if other conduct occurred abroad. It's RJR Nabisco again. The parties dispute what conduct is relevant to the focus of the ATS, but even if this dispute were resolved in respondents' favor, their complaint would impermissibly seek extraterritorial application of the ATS. Nearly all of the conduct they alleged aided and abetted forced labor, providing training, equipment, and cash to overseas farmers occurred in Ivory Coast. Pleading general corporate activity like mere corporate presence, Kyobel, does not draw a sufficient connection between the cause of action respondents seek and domestic conduct. To plead facts sufficient to support a domestic application of the ATS, plaintiffs must allege more domestic conduct than general corporate activity common to most corporations. Justice Thomas announced the judgment of the court and delivered the opinion of the court with respect to Parts 1 and 2, in which Chief Justice Roberts and Justices Breyer, Sotomayor, Kagan, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett joined, and an opinion with respect to Part 3, in which Justice Gorsuch and Kavanaugh joined. Justice Gorsuch filed a concurring opinion in which Justice Alito joined as to Part 1 and in which Justice Kavanaugh joined as to Part 2. Justice Sotomayor filed an opinion concurring in part and concurring in the judgment, in which Justices Breyer and Kagan joined. Justice Alito filed a dissenting opinion. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support me or the podcast, you can find a PayPal link in the show notes. You can find me on Patreon, or contact me at RhodesScholar80